Hello and greetings to you wherever you may be on this beautiful, wonderful blue planet floating in space, the third rock from the sun. Our home. My name is Anthony Altman, and this video is entitled How to Resolve Problems. It's part of the Inspirational series, and I'm not sure what number it is, but I'm just going ahead and making this video as a result of some incredible inspiration that I received today. In fact, I wasn't sure whether to call it How to Resolve Problems or The Power of Inspiration, because it's all mixed up. My motivation to make this video is derived from the sorry state our planet is in at the moment. The more I observe, the more I am hearing from all over the world. I am watching interviews with different people. I was just watching Mike Adams' Brighteon, an American interviewer, interviewing Michael Yon, who is very interesting, very well-traveled individual who knows so much about what's going on the planet, and various other interviews and other papers and discoveries and revelations. And I am still of the opinion that all these wonderful people are discussing the problems that we are experiencing while remaining on the level of the problem. I am not hearing very loudly, if at all, what we, the people, can do to resolve these problems. Now, herein there is a problem. There is a problem within the problem. This is that a huge percentage, I'm thinking 80%, maybe 90, maybe even 95% of the population of the planet, and I have arrived at this statistic by observation, casual that it may be. We can learn a lot from observation. The vast majority of people on this planet have no idea what's going on, really and truly. One. Number two, those who do have an idea what's going on are in self-denial. And as soon as there is a problem, they go traveling. They go on a cruise. They go have some fun, go to the movies. They're in a bubble that separates them from what is actually going on. And I would say that this is their attempt of self-preservation, and I can understand it. But unfortunately, this does not help at all in helping to resolve the issues. So if the majority of the people, let's be conservative, let's say 70% of the people, which constitutes to the percentage more or less of those people who have been jabbed as a result of the recent pandemic, excluding African countries and a few Asian countries, India, maybe even China, because of their vast populations. But certainly in the West and the industrialized nations, they've all 70%, around about that, plus or minus, have been well and truly jabbed. So the people were jabbed because they chose not to do their research. They chose not to find out what was in the jabs, or whether they've been tried and tested, whether they were safe. And now we are learning that this is not the case. We are learning a very, very dreadful truth. But unfortunately, as is in the case of those people who develop a psychological defense mechanism, when people have made a very grave error, and the truth is then presented to them, they are not able to accept it, acknowledge it. They hide from it. They run away. They do their best to escape, whether it's in a bubble or go on holiday, a distraction. And this activity, this approach, just hastens their increased suffering and even their demise. The only way to resolve problems is to resolve problems. Now, how you do that is what I am attempting to discuss in this video. If you choose not to resolve the problem, you don't even acknowledge that it exists, you will never be able to resolve it. And don't be surprised if one day everything collapses, economies, countries, and maybe even our planet. You see, there is a basic truth which says that everything we are experiencing or we are not experiencing, which means any problem that we are experiencing and every problem that we do not fully appreciate at the moment is more what I want to say. We either create or co-create by our thoughts, our words, or silence, and actions or non-action. We are complicit. When there is a problem and we remain silent and do nothing, we are complicit. And many people actually are instrumental in creating the problem because of some misguided sense of whatever it may be. So there are 2 points to consider when it comes to resolving any problem, any issue. The first point is, why did we create it or co-create it? Co-create it. If a person saw an issue and acted, which they found was a mistake, which I include the decisions that people made in the recent health issue. They made a choice, a decision to do something proactive. And many are realizing that this was a huge mistake. And now they're looking for ways and means to resolve it. Before you resolve it, it is important to find out why you decided to do that in the first place. Because if you find somebody who will help you resolve it now, what will happen in 1 or 2 months or 6 months or 1 year? A similar issue arises and you make the same mistake, the same choice, because you didn't learn the lesson. So we are to learn the lesson. Why did we do it? Was it out of fear? Was it out of ignorance? Was it out of some imbalance? And if that is true, any of those issues, then how do we resolve that? The answer to that is knowledge. Knowledge of self. Knowledge of whatever the external situation was. And the next point in working out how to resolve issues, problems, is what are we willing to do about it? You know, for many, many years, I've been in the healing arts. For many years, I have been interested in dietary lifestyle, and I've done my research, and I have been following the Ayurvedic dietary lifestyle, which comes from Ayurveda, from India, which is the science of life. And it's somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 years old, tried and tested. Wonderful system, works for me, works for most people, because it's tailor-made for every individual constitution. In 2003, I wasn't well. And I found out that the cause was probably my dietary lifestyle. In fact, it was. I arrived at that conclusion. It was also, I was also informed about that from a knowledgeable source, an Ayurvedic doctor, actually. And I made a decision to investigate what dietary lifestyle would suit me. So I went through the gamut and I arrived at Ayurveda, which I chose and have been with since 2003. And that is quite a long time. Well tried and tested. I was willing to change my dietary lifestyle. I was willing to become a vegetarian. And then I became a vegan or quasi-vegan. I was willing to change. I've met many people who have said to me, I'm going to eat meat. I don't care whether it hurts me or not. I don't care whether the meat is poisoned, whether it's organic or not organic meat. I don't care what happens to the animals. I'm not changing because I like meat and I'm going to eat the meat. Well, you can't talk to such people or change their dietary lifestyle or change the mode by which they look at issues or change in any way. Some people are very stubborn. The ego is in control and the ego is out of control. So they have an out of control ego that is in control of them. You're not going to change these people. They are to change themselves. And if they don't want to change, then why bother even looking for a resolution to any problem? If you don't like the results of your thoughts, words, and actions, or silence or non-actions, then you are to consider changing your actions or your non-actions. If you don't want to change, then there is nothing for us to talk about. Then it's best that you just go and do your thing and I go and do my thing and we all separate. And this is why there will soon become the separation of the wheat from the chaff, because these two schools of thought, positive people who are interested in positive change and people who are not interested in change whatsoever, cannot coexist together. Forgive me, I'm getting passionate again. I like to tell the truth as I see it. I like to call a spade a spade. I like to say it as it is. The reason we are in disunity on this planet and we are not working together is because there is disunity on this planet and we're not able to work together. And we're not able to work together because there is such a discrepancy in the way people approach life and the solution of the problems, or whether they are even willing to consider there is a problem. I have met so many people in my field as a clinical hypnotherapist and in the healing arts when I worked energy healing and many circumstances when people were confronted with something that they did which was not very good, and it harmed themselves and harmed other people, they were in total denial. Couldn't do it, ran away. And they actually did what the psychologists call projection. They projected their issue onto other people. In hypnotherapy terms, we call it the law of correspondence. And they see other people guilty of what they're guilty of. And we see it all the time here in the world, and it's getting worse. And it has to get worse before it gets better. And these videos of mine are here in a desperate, I use the word desperate because it is desperate. We're living in desperate times. And we require desperate means to help people wake up. These videos are here to help shock people, wake up, realize that the problem of all our woes lies with us, the people, not our leaders, because the leaders are the expression of the consciousness of the people who put them there or allowed them to stay there. Whether it's in Israel, America, England, doesn't matter. When the consciousness of individual people change, and these individual people make up the group, the country, humanity, then our leadership will change, because the leadership is always the expression of the consciousness of the people. And when you look at our leadership, you can see that the consciousness of the people is sadly lacking. There are certain requirements in order to resolve issues. One is to increase our individual consciousness. As I said before in a previous video, I believe it was Albert Einstein and various other people said, and I'm saying it now too because it's true, the consciousness that created the problem cannot be the same consciousness that resolves the problem. If you create a problem to find the resolution of that problem, you are to develop a little more consciousness. The conscious awareness that allowed a problem to occur cannot be the same conscious awareness to find the solution. The conscious awareness of resolution of any issue is to be expanded to some degree. How do we do this? More knowledge. We are to learn. And the knowledge is self-knowledge, because most people have no idea who they are, where they come from, what they're doing here, where they're going, what the leadership is, what's going on. They have no idea. Oh, we have a problem. Oh, I just had to pause the video for a moment because I had a sign on the computer which says that the microphone is not working or wasn't working, or there's a problem. So I just checked it. It seems to be all right. I'm having issues with technology. YouTube, my computer, and I believe that this has got something to do with electromagnetic disturbances. And whether it's from the sun, whether it's from the center of the galaxy, whether it's from the photon belt through which our galaxy is passing at the moment, whether it's 5G, 6G, whatever they're doing out there, I believe there are issues to be resolved, and we are to pay attention. So we need more knowledge of self, because the self is where the problems originate. And then we need, or we require, I don't like to use the word need, we require an intention to make positive changes within ourselves. If we don't have that intention, then we might as well go home. And then, of course, to apply all this and actually do it. So I'm imploring everybody, at the expense of sounding a little bit pushy, we're in a very, very sad place at the moment. And if we don't do something very soon, i.e. today, yesterday, then all this is totally redundant. The hour is extremely late, but I believe it's not too late. But more people are to wake up. More people are to work on themselves. More people are to understand what consciousness is. Go to my website, anthonyaltman.net. It's in the synopsis. I will put it there. On the healing and wellness page, there's a very, I think, a worthy description of what consciousness is. This is the one thing people are not putting their attention on. They don't seem to understand the importance of developing their consciousness. If there's a problem and you're dealing with the problem on the level of a problem, which means that you are the consciousness that created the problem, you're remaining with that same consciousness, you're just going around in circles and you're wasting your time. We have potential that we're not using. We're operating at subpar. I keep saying this. Where are you all? What's wrong with you? This is a beautiful planet, and we are people with blood coursing through our veins, with intelligence, the potential of intelligence, the potential of consciousness, the potential of love and compassion and harmony. And where is it? Demonstrating and banging pots in front of a leader's home or wherever, which is what they do here in Israel, doesn't do anything. They don't care. If you really want to do something, everybody should just down tools and say, right, we're staying at home, let the country come to a grind to a halt, and then let the government come and talk to us. We, the people, have that power. And until we exercise it for positive good, for positive change, we're nothing more than slaves. I apologize for the intensity of this video, but conditions on this planet are worsening. We are either to create and co-create a better way to live, or we're going to destroy ourselves. That's simple. We're either going to take full responsibility for what we think, what we feel, what we speak or don't say, silence, and the actions we perform or non-actions, or we're not going to take a responsibility for any of that and just wait until the end. I am a believer in the possibility and the ability of humanity to step back from the abyss. Nobody's coming to save us. No Messiah, no Jesus, nobody. It's you and me and all of us together who are going to save us. This is the big lesson. And until we learn how to do that, then we'll go through the process like we have gone through before. We're halfway through the precession of the equinoxes. That's like a 13,000-year cycle. And the survivors will create a golden age. Who will the survivors be? 5%, 10% of 8 billion people? That's what it looks like to me, if nothing improves. And then another 13,000 years, and then we do it all over again. Because humans don't learn that easily. Let's change this. We have the ability to change. We're incredible human beings. We're incredible. We have such incredible potential. Let's exercise it. Thank you for listening to me ranting and raving. I suppose at my age, I am allowed to rant and rave. I just wish people would wake up, more people, and reduce the level of suffering, and let us get on with building a golden age of love, harmony, well-being, prosperity for everybody. It's possible. But for that to happen, we are to change in order to create that. It would mean that we change our political form. I don't believe one leader should have all that power. It's got to change. The power is with the people. And if the people are not able to wield that power, well, guess what? We'll destroy ourselves and we'll start again and just keep going until eventually we learn. Let's learn now. Thank you very much for joining me on this rather strange road less traveled today. Until next time. Thank you. I hope that next time I'll be a little calmer, a little less passionate, perhaps, a little more patient. Thank you.